Beloved, welcome to episode 4 of the Anatomy of Non-Peace, a vibrational guide to becoming joy. This is a profound episode, one that reveals why your journey into the joy often feels harder than it should, why inner peace feels fleeting, why enoughness feels unstable, and why joy, the very thing you desire, can be subtly threatened. Episode 4 is titled, The Ego's Last Stand, Why Joy Feels Like an Identity Threat. This might be the most important insight of the entire arc. Let's begin. Section 1. The ego is not you, it's your history. Your ego is not the villain. It is not your enemy. It is not your lower self. The ego is the keeper of your identity, a complex, protective structure designed to keep your life familiar, predictable, and survivable. The ego's job is simple. Maintain the identity you built, even if that identity is rooted in pain. This means if your identity has been built around striving, hypervigilance, self-sacrifice, people-pleasing, perfectionism, emotional armor, chronic busyness, survival, being the strong one, being the invisible one, being the fixer, being the dependable one, then joy becomes a threat. Not intentionally, not consciously, but structurally. Because joy requires openness, vulnerability, receptivity, surrender, enoughness, presence, softness, authenticity, emotional transparency, and trust. And these qualities disrupt the identity that helped you survive. Section 2. The ego's fear of joy. The ego fears joy for 3 reasons. First, joy requires letting go of old pain narratives. Joy dissolves the stories that have defined you. I'm the strong one. I have to hold everything together. I don't need help. I must prove myself. I have to earn love. If I let go, everything will fall apart. Joy says, you are allowed to be loved. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to be supported. You are allowed to receive. And to the ego, this feels like losing control. Number 2, joy creates change, and change threatens familiarity. If you experience true joy, your relationships may shift, boundaries may appear, old roles may dissolve, old identities may die. The ego interprets this as a danger. And 3, joy requires vulnerability. Joy is soft, it's open, it's unarmored. To the ego, vulnerability equals risk. Risk equals danger. Danger equals non-survival. So even though you consciously say, I want to be happy, your ego whispers, stay where it's known. Stay where it's predictable. Stay where I can protect you. Thus, joy becomes unfamiliar and the unfamiliar becomes unsafe. Section 3. Trauma bonds with suffering. Here is a difficult but liberating truth. Most people are trauma bonded to their suffering. What does that mean? It means that pain became a companion, a compass, a source of identity, the way you understood yourself, the way you navigated the world, the way you related to others, the way you controlled unpredictability. If you learned that suffering equals love, or suffering equals belonging, or suffering equals purpose, or suffering equals safety, then joy feels destabilizing. Because joy threatens to remove the structure the pain once provided. Section 4. The identity set point. Every identity has a set point, a frequency range where the ego feels safe. It might be mild disappointment, constant worry, low-level stress, emotional exhaustion, always almost peaceful but never fully there, perpetual self-improvement, controlled chaos. Even if you don't like your set point, you return to it because you know how to be yourself there. Joy lifts you out of the familiar frequency, but the ego, sensing unfamiliarity, pulls you back to your set point. This is why people self-sabotage, push away love, shut down joy, stop good habits, create drama, intensify anxiety, numb out, hide, or overwork. Not because they dislike joy, but because they don't recognize themselves in it. Section 5. The ego doesn't need to die. It needs to be gently retrained. Beloved, listen closely. You do not need to kill the ego. You do not need to defeat the ego. You do not need to shame the ego. That is simply more non-peace. What the ego truly needs is reassurance, clarity, safety, permission, and leadership. The ego needs to learn that joy is not a threat. Joy is the next level of safety. This is where spiritual teachings often miss the mark. Joy is not the absence of ego. Joy is the ego relaxing in the presence of truth. Section 6. A guided identity softening practice. Let's do this together. Place a hand on your chest or belly. Take a slow breath. Let your shoulders soften. Now imagine your ego, not as a monster or obstruction, but as a small, tired protector. Maybe it looks like a child, like a guide, like a weary warrior, like a shadow, like a tightened fist, like a cautious animal. See it clearly. Now say quietly and gently, "You kept me safe, you did your best, but I don't need protection from joy. I need companionship on the path to joy." Then add, "You are allowed to rest now. I will lead from here." Notice what softens. Notice what loosens. Notice what shifts. This is the beginning of identity evolution, not through destruction, but through compassion. Section 7. Preparing for Episode 5. In the next episode, we explore something extraordinary, the anatomy of emotional armor, why you learn to harden and how to return to softness without losing power. This next chapter will show you how emotional walls formed, why softness is the true strength, how to dismantle armor without becoming unsafe, how joy enters once the walls gently fall. But for now, beloved, breathe in this truth. Joy is not a threat to your identity. Joy is the evolution of your identity. It is safe to become the you who can hold joy.